All right, good morning. Let's map. I want to continue mapping in the Salida area. So this is a town southwest of Denver here in Colorado, sort of at this junction here south of Buena Vista. So let's take a look. I recently posted an hour-long video where I was working on some of the sidewalks in this area, and as you can see, we've made a lot of progress, but there's still a lot to do. So today I think I'm just going to do some sort of spot checks around here, see if I've gotten most of the sidewalks in. We might explore a little bit more area down to the southwest here. I might go northwest. Kind of depends on how we're feeling. Let's jump into it. All right, so first we're going to hop into the ID editor. And let's see where we want to start. I remember liking my aerial image offset over in this area, so I'm going to start by lining it up over here. Wah bang. Yes, that's generally pretty good right there. We love it. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Looks like there is still some inconsistency around here, but I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. Okay, what do we have here? That sidewalk stops, and then there's like some sidewalk right here in front of this house. I don't know what to say about that. There's probably not any being overlay, is there? It's the type of thing that, like, I want to be true to what's actually on the ground, right? Like, I don't want to continue that sidewalk if there isn't sidewalk there. But it is still really unfortunate, right? Like, if I was a pedestrian, maybe I would cross third if there's no cars coming. Maybe I just walk through this person's front yard and just connect there. Maybe in, since, probably 2001 or 2021 when this image was taken, maybe they filled in that sidewalk. It's really hard to say. I think I'm going to leave it for now, though, because there does not appear to be sidewalk there at the moment. Okay. But with these crossings, it does feel like this sort of feels like a sidewalk-ish. Doesn't that look like somewhere someone would walk? It's really confusing. Okay, I think I'm going to start by doing this side over here and then maybe work from there. We do have sidewalk on the south side of Park Ave, although it looks like my aerial image offset was a little further south at the time. Okay, just sort of getting a lay of the land here. I might, yeah. Okay, let's do this. Let's go from here to here. That's a very clear intersection with an unmarked crossing. And we're going to connect those features. It's asphalt, sure. And it looks like that has tactile paving. I've spent a lot of time looking at the aerial imagery around this Salida area, and most of the tactile paving in this area looks quite similar. So I feel more confident than usual that that would be tactile paving without like looking at it in person. Okay. That's weird. That's okay. There's a crossing down here. Let me tag this as a sidewalk first. So there's a crossing like from here to here. Sure. That looks okay. Sometimes I feel like putting like a bend in the crossing itself sort of helps define where it goes, but in this case it's an unmarked crossing to begin with, so it's kind of undefined, and I just don't really think it matters. I am going to say that's tactile paved, though. It's so funny to see tactile paving in this area. I mean, maybe funny isn't the right word because it's a good idea, but like why why do they just put it so sporadically? I mean, maybe their plan is just to add it every time they add a new crossing or they replace a section of the sidewalk, but just it feels very silly to see that, but to not see like any other accessible pieces of the sidewalk around here. Okay, I am going to try to like nail that placing there so that we can grab the edges of that unmarked crossing. We're going to divide it. It's funny, sometimes I'll map an area like this and I'll just completely miss like a whole street that I crossed or something like that. It's nice that sometimes the ID editor will catch those mistakes and let me know that I'm doing something a little off. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, it's sometimes I wonder like if these sidewalks are really just intended to walk between houses in this neighborhood. I mean, like many cities in the United States, this is clearly a car-centric place. Like it seems like every house is sort of predominantly using the car to get to where they're going. And this feels like a great example of having a sidewalk almost just for show, right? Like where are you walking? Unless you're willing to walk down one of these streets without sidewalks, which I'm sure a lot of people do if they want to get to town. Like look at that. That's just so silly. I don't mean to be mean. Like, you know, it's cool, but it's just interesting to sort of note the differences between how different cities choose to develop their sidewalk infrastructure. I don't know what I want to do here because there isn't really a crossing, but I guess it does connect. So you know what? I'm just going to connect that like that. I think that's honestly the best move in this situation. And then let's connect this guy. Okay. And I know this might not be like a proper sidewalk, but, well, I don't know if I want to do that. Is there street side imagery? No, it's over here. Maybe I can get a look down this street. Excuse me. My gosh. Okay. Where am I? Wow, it's actually a really pretty view. Yeah, and like I take back everything I said about the sidewalk like not being very developed because like, you know, this is a rather small area. Like, yes, there are some cars driving on these roads, but you know, this is not the least pedestrian friendly place I've ever seen, you know? Like you could definitely get to town from here by foot. You're going to be walking on the side of a road and you're going to be passed by cars, but like the visibility is fine most of the time. I don't know. It's interesting. Like, you know, they don't seem to be too incentivized by like developing sidewalks everywhere. It might be really difficult now that they've sold all these properties to like private homeowners. That's interesting. These lines on the side of the road here. I wonder if this is intended to be like a bike route or something. I honestly hadn't noticed that before. But like those parallel lines running down Park Ave are like, they kind of give me bike lane vibes. I might try to check that out more and see what the dealio is. I don't see them anywhere else, just along Park Avenue, which is pretty common, I think, in a city of this size. Like you'll have one sort of like bike lane friendly area. It seems to just end right there, at least from this aerial view. Let's check the Bing Maps again and see if we can get a better sense of what's going on here. Yeah, so down in that direction doesn't seem like they're doing it at all. But down here, it really does. And I feel like, did I catch... That black and white sign might be concerning bikes. I can't make it out at all. I really wish I could use like Google Street View because I feel like they would have better imagery, but alas, we cannot. That is funny. I love the artifacts in the sky. Pentagon. All right. Well, we'll cross that bridge. Sort of hunting around for sidewalks here. Looks like we've got a decent connection over on this side. Once again, the connectivity around here is just really odd. Like, is this an unmarked crossing? Thank goodness we have street side view. Let's take a look. All right. I mean, yeah, I guess you would walk between these places. It looks like there's literally snow on this section. That's so funny. And like, you know, someone would probably walk down here. But does this count as a sidewalk? Not really. I would definitely tag it as being like dirt. But I don't really feel like that's my job. You know, like I don't live around here. I wouldn't really be able to say if this is passable a lot of the time. So I think I'm going to just map the concrete sidewalks for now because that's kind of what I'm here to do. Okay. Well, I think I'm just going to call it as I see it. Like, this is a sidewalk with no exit, and it starts right here. And it goes over here. And then we have this sort of weird connection over here. Oh, man. Like, they chose to put sidewalk on this property, but they didn't choose to connect it? It's a weird one. I don't really know where that ends, but I'm going to take a guess. Yeah, it's warning me that it's disconnected from other roads and paths. You can tag the end nodes of a path like this as like a no exit, but usually I would only do that in like a parking garage or something where like there truly is no exit. But in this situation, like a pedestrian could continue. So I'm hesitant to put a tag like that. Just going to round out this bend a little bit. Looks like it's probably a Tiger import or something, a little hastily done. It's looking a little bit better. I don't want to like transform it too much, like move it too far away from where it was, because, you know, there's diminishing returns, I feel, to doing that sort of thing. Is that sidewalk right there in front of that house? It feels like a lot of people are trying to make sidewalks happen around here, but it only has limited support. It's really interesting. All right, well, I feel like I've done what I can do up there. This is definitely a sidewalk coming from here, and I bet you that connects. So I am going to connect this because that appears to be what's actually happening on the ground, so to speak. How do I cross the sidewalk? Yep. Okay. So yeah, that looks like a crossing. Oh man. And then we have another piece that's disconnected there. That's unfortunate. Okay. No matter. Oops. Did I turn off being street side, or is there just no coverage around here? The coverage was over to the east side. What is this? Tourist attraction, Riverboat Works. Huh. It's funny how in an area where the buildings haven't been mapped like this, which my friend Traveling Car is actually doing that right now, so they might be able to come over to this area and spruce it up a little bit. But until they or I or someone else comes through and puts all these buildings in, the map looks really sparse, right? Like you just have the roads and now some of these sidewalks, but the sidewalks are all just stopping and starting all over the place. It looks like it's almost like under construction from the OpenStreetMap perspective. Okay, there's a sidewalk on this side, and it does look like it connects up here. So I'm going to sort of generously, well, that just doesn't really feel like a front walk, but I guess it is. Really wish I could take a look at that in person. You know what? I just can't really tell what's going on the ground. Like, I just don't have the intuition of what's happening here. So I'm going to start the sidewalk there, sort of take a conservative decision. I think that's fine. So we're going to map that sidewalk. Am I connecting this to Dodge Street? I guess so. I like to connect them to something if they're just stopping. You know what I mean? This is a situation where, like, clearly there's road here, but I don't know if it's a named road, like if it continues to be Dodge Street. We also have this funny thing, which it looks like bigger than it is from the aerial imagery. I bet you this is just a fence or like a wall or something, but who knows, honestly. Really, really strange. Okay. I'm going to hop into a different imagery for a second here and see if I can get a funny. Okay. I guess there is a wall there of some sort. Can we get a better view? No. Big Maps really is the best around here. Yeah, it does look like it splits over something. That's about the best I can do. There's a lot of tree coverage in this photo. All right. Well, I feel like Bing Maps is the best in this situation. I am going to put a residential road here because that's what appears to be happening. And then I'm also going to put a residential road over here. And I'm not going to name these because I just have no idea what they're called. But I think it's fair to put these in. And I think that would be more accurate when it comes to navigation and stuff. I mean, this looks like a multifamily area. Like this is a residential area as far as I can tell. You know, it looks like people are doing some gardening. There's some like various cars parked. I don't know. Could be industrial maybe or something else, but this just really feels like where people are living. So, yeah, cool. A lot of driveways we could put in, but I'm not here to do that right now. Okay. Oh, there's like a sidewalk of note. So this is a situation where I'm going to take a little bit of creative liberty here and connect it straight up to that street because I feel like that's basically what's happening in real life is this walk is taking you out onto that street. But this is a footpath. I'm not going to say sidewalk because it doesn't follow the side of a street. It sort of connects in between streets. And I am actually going to extend this and just connect it to this road so that there is sort of an idea of connection there. Okay. I'm not seeing any sidewalks over on this end of things. There is this like track, which I think I will map actually. Trying to just sort of add a few more features that will help people sort of navigate around, get a sense for like how to get around Salida here. This might be a private feature, but I doubt it just because it's behind so many of these like single houses. Track/land access road. What tags are we using here? Highway track. I'm going to look that up really quick. OpenStreetMap.org. I should honestly add OpenStreetMap Wiki as one of my like browser search options. I might make a video about doing that because that might be helpful. Okay. Minor land access roads that are not considered part of the general purpose road network. Track roads are mostly used for agriculture, forestry, outdoor recreation, similar activities on open land. Roads used for access to permanent human settlements or facilities should generally not use this tag. Okay, so I think I should not be using that tag. Okay, generally not appropriate. A road that is minor but serves as a connection in the general purpose road network. Maybe. A minor road with permanent residences along it. That is true, although this is definitely not the primary road for these houses. Like, well, there is someone parked back here, so clearly people are using this. I do feel, though, that the primary purpose of this road is like sort of for convenience rather than like access to the backs of these places. This is my guess, rather than like the primary entrance or the access road to these houses. Like Maple Drive, that's a residential road, no doubt about it. But what is this back here? I'm not sure yet. Let's read a little bit more. Some examples: farm tracks, forest roads, fire roads, a minor road used for access to conservation land, or a dirt track used for access to the mountains, desert, or other remote area. Okay, so it doesn't sound like this is a track. Let's take a look at the highway key and see what other options we have. So motorway, trunk, primary, none of those are going to be it. Unclassified, the least important through roads in a country system, i.e. minor roads of a lower classification than tertiary, serve a purpose other than to access to properties. Okay, so that's not an unclassified highway. Highway residential, roads that serve as an access to housing without function of connecting settlements, often lined with housing. Okay, so this might just be a residential road that doesn't have a name or something. Living street, that's very specific. Where pedestrians have legal priority over cars, speeds are kept very low. That's really interesting, but that's definitely not what we're looking at here. Of unknown type, it can stand for anything ranging from a footpath to a motorway. This tag should only be used temporarily until it's been properly surveyed. If you do know the road type, don't use it. Okay, I feel like we know enough about this place that we don't need to worry about that. Okay, these are paths, so this is different. This is sort of like for people who are walking or climbing or something like that. Okay, made up my mind. I think this is a residential road. It's funny doing that because I feel like this is just so much less important than these, right? But that does appear to be what we're looking at here. Take a look at other imagery and just see what other views we can have here. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Bing Maps is definitely the best. It's looking like a dirt road. Basically what I'm trying to decide is like, yeah, I'm going to mark it as unpaved, which is actually, it's kind of cool. Just as of this week, OpenStreetMap is rendering unpaved roads using stippling effects on the primary Mapnik map. So it does actually matter if you tag something as unpaved because it will appear differently in the like some of the map renderers, which is nice. Okay. That was a bit of a tangent. Let's get back to the sidewalks. Speaking of tangents. Okay, so for one, like, I don't really trust this road, right? Like, so it used to look like that for sure. And now this looks newer, and this looks like a better representation of what's actually on the ground here. I could be wrong, but honestly, it's probably true that this is what's going on here. So what I'm going to do is match it to look like this. And then I'm just going to double check and make sure that the old version of this road is not very recent, just to make sure that I'm not making a big mistake here. Let's connect those, put that like that. I know this looks weird for a second, but I will fix it. Basically, I'm just going to make this like a parking aisle type deal and then sort of connect these up. I don't really know like what to do in this situation. I think what I'm actually going to do is disconnect this guy, put it over here. I feel like there's no real right or wrong answer here just because like clearly these roads change a lot and there isn't really a accepted way of doing things. Okay. And then I'm going to disconnect this guy, or cut it, I should say, split it. Service road. Okay. Service road, unpaved. That's true. I'm also going to say this is unpaved. And you are a parking aisle. Well, nope. You're a service road because you also function as a driveway to this house. And then let's add a parking lot. Whatever business is here must have seen some good business recently because it looks like they're expanding. All right. That's good enough for me. I accidentally drew this area as a line rather than as an area. How you can fix that in the ID editor is just using the tag key area, and then it'll recognize it as an area. Parking lot. Nice. Looks good. Happy with that. Okay. What else is going on? I'm not finding very many sidewalks around here. Kind of feels like that work is done. Oh, just as I said that, here is some sidewalk. I love how that just ends. That's just so funny. Okay. So let's add a marked crossing here. And when I, oops, not you. When I think of it, I try to add the crossing markings because I just think that's an interesting piece of data to map here. Also, I'm not sure why, but I like tagging that center node as a marked crossing. I don't know why it doesn't do that by default when you make a marked crossing. This looks like sort of this sidewalky area that hasn't really gone anywhere, but I'm going to just put it there anyways. Hopefully someday it will be expanded and we can connect that up nicely to whatever goes in next to it. You are funny. This is a fence, but I have trouble believing that fence actually crosses the sidewalk there. Let's take a look from this perspective and see if we can get a sense of what's going on. Okay, so interesting. So this is actually an older view because from aerial imagery we can see that this is now a concrete path that has been put in. But in this view, there is no marked crossing here, and there's no mixed-use trail along here. So clearly things have changed a lot, and we can't trust this. That's okay. What we do know is that this fence... Oh, God. This fence just seems really wrong. Like, even with the older imagery... Wow, things have changed a lot in this area. Oh, recreational cannabis. That's funny. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this a bit. I think that that is okay. And these look like straight lines now, so I'm going to consolidate them. Go like this. Wabong. I think that is going to be a-okay. I do not think that these are going up so high anymore. Okay. So I know we like quote unquote lost data there, but I think that's the best thing to do. Let me just check and see if there's any other fences in this area that we should be aware of here. While we're making fences, you know what I mean? There is a low fence on this side. If I scroll in here, looks like there's fences on either side. I wonder if this is like a, because the map says that this is a dispensary. Let's see if it is. Retail marijuana. There you go. So there's probably laws about having to fence in an area or like establish a private zone in which you can sell or consume marijuana. That's just a wild guess on my part. So it's probably why they chose to fence all of this in. But it does look like they fence all the way up to that wall there. But as I said, these feel like old images, so I'm not going to trust them entirely. I'm going to leave it as is for now, and maybe someone in the future can survey this a little bit better. Anywho, let's get back to the sidewalks. So this is a funny situation as well, because this is like running along the side of a road. So like in my book, this is a sidewalk. But it does feel a little uncomfortable to me, like calling it a sidewalk, just because it's kind of doing its own thing. But I believe the OpenStreetMap definition is pretty clear. Like stuff like this is a sidewalk. Oh, thanks a lot. Having that county line just like right on the sidewalk. Do not want to snap to that. Okay. Thank goodness this is straight, so I can just kind of zoom past it here. Okay. Wabang. Does that line up fairly well, or do I need to... Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks okay. Okay, that's sidewalk. Cool. This Hunt Street is kind of funnily aligned. I'm going to move that over a little bit. Okay, let's add a unmarked crossing here. I'm going to bring it straight to that corner. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to put that right there. And we're going to make that an unmarked crossing. Okay. Connect the features. Very good. Okay. Wow, we've really been all over the place today. Looks like we have a lot of crossings in this area, so let's get to it. I should have drawn the other one first, but that's okay. Sidewalk. It's disconnected. Not for long. Okay, we're going to pop you in right there. Yep. Nice. You are a marked crossing. As I said before, I like actually tagging the node as a marked crossing. I should make sure that's like acceptable behavior. I think it is. Surely it is permissible. Okay. Another sort of funny sidewalk situation where we just kind of like lose the sidewalk after a while. That's very strange. All right. Yeah, so sometimes I don't like bending the marked crossings to meet another area, another sidewalk or something. In this situation, though, I don't think it's really that bad. I kind of like the look of that better, and I think that represents the data on the ground just fine. So I'm happy with it. Let's move on. Okay, I'm actually going to bring you down. Actually, this has been. There it goes. I had it too far low. Okay. Happier with that. And then let's take this guy across. It's such a thin marked crossing. It's funny looking. Okay. Yeah. The thing about marked crossings and just tagging crossings in general is that I always struggle to keep them consistent. Like sometimes I'll add a lot more data than I do with others. And that's just how OpenStreetMap goes sometimes, right? Like we map the things we care about, and sometimes we just let some features sit. Maybe someone else will care about them. And I feel like that's how I feel about a lot of crossings that I tag. It's like sometimes I really care and sometimes I don't. And that's just the way it goes. Hopefully what I do is better than it would have been. So I'm going to put that there. I know that's a funny shape, but we do have this like hanging sidewalk anyway, so that's not really functionally helpful. Any person who's using the sidewalk will most likely be going straight across the marked crossing anyways. So I feel like that just looks nicer, and it sort of better represents like what we should prioritize here in this spot. Okay. I know you shouldn't map to the renderer, but you totally should map to like the experience of walking on these, you know, like I'm mapping these sidewalks so that people can hopefully use them, right? So it's like the experience of actually walking on the sidewalk is the most important thing that should influence me or influence my decision making. I don't love this parking aisle, but at least it'll be straighter now. Okay. And there's a whole sidewalk on the south side of the street too that I'll have to worry about at some point. You are a marked crossing with an island. Yes, you have a refuge island. At least it sure looks like you do. And you cross asphalt, and I'm going to... So this is a situation where this road feels split. I think it is best to map it as one way, though, like one OpenStreetMap way, rather than two ways. Oh, that's funny. Wow, ID has like really advanced turn restriction stuff. I've never actually used this before. It's kind of cool looking. Okay, anyways, marked crossing. Excuse me, keep burping. All right. Boom. Live, laugh, love, Milford Street. Boom, boom. Don't love. Okay. This is weird. It's like just a gross sort of like approximation, sort of like lowest effort type of parking aisle creation. I don't know. At some point, I might come through here and try to just spruce these up a little bit. But for now, hopefully they'll just get you where you're going. Okay, that parking lot needs to be pulled up a little bit here. I see like what you meant here, but it feels a little strange. Let's go like that. Wow. Did I map this? Was this me? Hopefully not. Okay. Marked crossing. Yes. Yes, it is. See, that's one of those weird looking curb like drainage things that often looks like a sidewalk in aerial imagery, but I'm like 90% sure that's not a sidewalk. Okay. That's funny. I feel like that's not where that road goes, but I'm not going to worry about that. So this is like, this like goes here. This is another one of those just like unfortunate geometries that just doesn't do well when you map it like with OpenStreetMap ways and nodes. I'll explain what I mean in just a second here. So putting like this across looks pretty good. I feel like I think that's pretty nice looking overall. Oh look, we already have a crossing node. How very nice. But if we go like this, well, I don't mind that as much as I thought I would. Let's make sure those are connected. Let's straighten that up. Let's say this is sources Bing. Cool. Okay. County Road 107. 207. Sounds like a great place to be. Okay, that's sure looking like more sidewalk, so let's do it. Ba bang, ba boom. Kind of goes up like that. I guess that's just kind of intended to connect like that. Okay, cool. I'm pretty sure I put that marked crossing in before, and it looks like it's generally lined up, maybe a little north of what I'm doing. But that's okay. I feel like that's acceptable losses. I'm going to move you up a little bit, and I'm going to disconnect you from here, because I just feel like that's a needless connection. Like those are unrelated ways, and they are not lined up. So like let's not line them up. Okay. I'm happy with this. We have 107 edits so far this session. Try not to let it get too far above like 100, 200. Once you hit like 300, it starts really slowing down just generally. But I feel like we can afford to get the bottom bit of this. Whew. Town and Country Chevy Buick. That is a big, big business. Lots of parking spots and stuff. That would be probably worthwhile mapping here. Sure, connect those features. Okay, you're a marked crossing. I'll say you have longitudinal bars. Okay. All right. Looks like we have some roads that we're going to have to add. Parking aisles and service roads, stuff like that. For now, let's just get the sidewalk in because that's what I am here to do. Uh-oh. I think the sidewalk's going to be pretty much done. It does look like there's a trail here, and we have enough street side imagery along US 50 here. I might take the time to map that because I love my fellow pedestrians. My college application essay was just about walking, like walking around barefoot in my hometown, just being a pedestrian. That was my pitch to the college. Like, you should take me because I care so much about walking. And now here I am, continuing to care about walking. I did not let go of my promise. So that almost looks like a refuge island, but I'm not going to tag it because, well, why not? We have the 360 imagery. Let's see what we got here. You know, that is an unmarked crossing with an island. Let's just double check and see what refuge island definitions are like on OpenStreetMap. I'm going to get some water here. I'm trying not to talk down too much into this mic, because the last time I did a video like this, like, it was just so crackly with my saliva and spit all over the mic. Is gross. So I'll have to figure out. Okay, clearly I've done something wrong. This just says map features. Okay. I guess what I want is like a crossing. I should pay attention here. Highway. Oh, that's funny. I guess there would be aircraft crossings. Okay. Crossing marked. Crossing signals, yes. Wow, surprise, surprise. There's a lot of thoughts and proposals and differing opinions about this. That's okay. What is the value that we get when we tag a refuge island? So if I hit yes, it says crossing : island equals yes. Okay, so that's a good hint for us, right? Let's just search that verbatim. Boom, there it is. The key crossing island is used to specify whether a pedestrian island has a refuge island, also known as a pedestrian island. This key supersedes the former tag crossing equals island. Good call. That's a bad idea because there's other types of crossings and they might have islands themselves. Okay. Possible values are yes or no. It is recommended to further specify the type of the pedestrian crossing using crossing equals. I agree. Okay, do not tag a crossing with crossing island equals yes if the crossing is explicitly mapped as multiple separate crossings. I agree. This is common with larger intersections with wide traffic islands where the traffic lane in each direction is mapped separately. For clarity, the stretches of highway equals footway that form part of the traffic island can be tagged with footway equals traffic island. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that existed, but there are places where I've just tagged it as a sidewalk. And so in the future, I could make it more specific and say footway equals traffic island. That's good to know. Okay, we did learn something today. Refuge island is not super well defined here, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. I do think this qualifies as a refuge island, and I'll tell you why. It's because we have a raised curb here. Vehicles coming down this ramp, I guess, could very easily hit this, but a vehicle coming up here would have to intentionally jump a curb, and that feels like the definition of an island. That's what a crossing island is. It's protected to some extent by a curb. So let's say yes, there is a refuge island. All right, that was fun. What's down here? So I'm noticing like this sort of side trail. Wow, this imagery is next level, am I right? No, I don't mean to be ungrateful. I'm very glad that they sent TomTom out here to make all this happen. Okay, so like informal trail vibes, right? Coming down here. But that is very much a trail. And it does very much continue all the way down here. I kind of want to map it, to be honest with you. I really do. It keeps going, doesn't it? I bet you there's people who walk here on a pretty frequent basis. Oh, wow. That's pretty. I've only been here, been down here once or twice a long time ago. I don't remember looking at the side and noticing this trail. But that is like that is an established trail. It's not a good trail and it should be protected and maybe even like, I don't know. Pedestrians should be given a little bit more leeway along here. I mean, geez. But it definitely exists and it definitely deserves to be mapped. So let's map it. Okay. Figuring out the tags for this is going to be fun. Am I right? Okay. This is that bridge. I guess I'm going to have to say that this is on a bridge. Which is kind of goofy, but that is what's happening here. Okay. Oops. Select the node. What have I done? Okay, you. Do I call you a sidewalk if you're just an informal trail? I don't know. Let's find out. It's highway equals footway equals sidewalk. I think so. Sidewalks. There you go. Footway equals sidewalk. Good, good, good. Okay. That part of a highway set aside for the use of pedestrians and sometimes also cyclists, separated from the carriageway. A sidewalk may be separated by only a curb, by a road verge, or alternatively by maybe some distance from the road, but still associated with it. It may also be separated from the road by some form of barrier. A road may have a sidewalk on only one side. I'm going to call this a footway because it does not feel to be like intentional by the designer of this road that someone would walk here, which is unfortunate, but it does seem to be the case. And if someone disagrees with me, they can come and change the tags and hopefully explain to me why they made that change, because I would be interested to know their reasoning. Okay, I'm going to continue, close this overlay. It's cool that I can see this path so clearly. Like, it is so obvious just from the aerial imagery where people have been walking here. I mean, right? Like, that could not be anything else. At least I don't think it could be anything else. All right, you are a footpath. Crossing. That's an unmarked crossing, my dudes. This editing session, as they always do, has taken a funny turn. Now I'm marking a unofficial trail down US Highway 50. It almost looks like we have multiple paths in parallel here, but I think those are more like tractor marks or something like that. While this, I'll double check on the street side once I get a little further down here, but I'm quite certain this is an established walking path all the way down here. By established, I mean unofficial, undesignated. Okay. Yeah, someone might want to come in and just spruce this up a little bit, but I think it's pretty accurate to what's going on here. This is also the type of thing that's difficult because I am still confident that this exists. Like, I really do believe that this exists, but it's the type of trail that could change really quickly. Like, when you see trails like this, they often do just like move around, or just otherwise like migrate sometimes. I don't think that's a huge problem here though, because it follows this highway so diligently. I think a lot of people are trying to follow this highway on foot and they find themselves going down the same exact path every time. Okay, I lost the trail. This doesn't really look like a trail anymore. Yes, there's some tracks over here. Well, that's almost looking more established than ever. Do we think that's... No, that's like connected to there. Okay, I'm going to leave it for now. I think I followed that trail far enough that like I've added some value here. Oh, interesting. That looks like a walking path too. But this is like... There's something going on over here. This is like legit. All right, I'm not going to worry about that for now. So another thing that I'm going to do is select all of these guys, and we're going to pick out a tag that hopefully makes this feel less official. This is an unofficial path. This is unpaved. These are unpaved, except for this guy. Okay, in just a second I will fix this guy because that is a paved section. Surface, description. Let's take a look at footways, see what we can come up with. How to map linear ways. Oh my. Editing standards and conventions. I should probably read editing standards and conventions. It's been a while. Okay, trail visibility. SAC scale. What is that? I feel like I've read this a long time ago. Difficulties to be expected. Okay. I don't really want to do that. Trail visibility. I think this is an intermediate visibility trail. Maybe it's more obvious in person, but I doubt it, honestly. I think this isn't like, you know, this is a trail for sure, but it's not a very well defined one. It's not good visibility. So, yeah. And then this guy down here, I forgot to make asphalt rather than paved. Cool. All right. I think I'm going to call that for the session. Thanks for watching, if you are, and catch me in part 3 of editing Salida, Colorado to add sidewalks and other features. Take care. Bye.